So to kick off our day, we are pleased to have Michaela Gagney. Michaela was diagnosed with long QT syndrome at age 17, and she changed her career plans from sports to the pageant world and becoming Miss Massachusetts in 2016 or 2006, excuse me. So she's now in education as a mental health counselor, an art therapist, and you can hear more of her story in an interview that we put on our SADS blog when she was interviewed with Anna on our staff team. So I welcome you, Michaela, and I invite you to share your screen and we can hear your story. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, everyone. And again, it's amazing to be part of this conference. And SADS has always been an incredible support for me. So I'm really excited to share my story today. So let me paint you a picture. Just imagine you are 15 years old. Now that could be scary for some of us, but you're 15 years old again, you're full of energy and you're full of life. And there's nothing you love more in the world than the thrill of athletic competition. Soccer, basketball, track and field, it is your passion. You love to fly, to run so fast and breathe so hard that in that moment, you can accomplish anything. It is that moment you live for. After a long and grueling practice one day, your high school coach pulls you aside, looks you in the eye and says, "You can coach a player to have skills, but not to have heart. You are great because you have all the heart in the world. And you are good at it. You're really good. You're a record-breaking, varsity lettering, 3-sport captaining athlete, and all you want is to compete for the rest of your life." So there you are. It's an unusually hot Saturday morning in May, and you are standing at the starting line to the biggest track race of your life. The 10 hurdles are lined up in front of you, taunting you to conquer them. On your mark. You shake out your legs, feeling the presence of the amazing racers on the side of you, but you know in your heart that you're the best. Get set. You put your feet in the starting blocks, heart racing, blood pumping, energy screaming. Go. You are off. As the wind whips in your face, you take that first hurdle by storm. Hurdle 2, 3, 4. No one is by your side. You lead the pack. The adrenaline only rocks you harder. Hurdle 5, 6. You feel a wave of dizziness. Your vision begins to slightly cloud. Hurdle 7. You feel yourself slow down, realizing you can barely see ahead of you. Your head is ringing. Hurdle 8. You continue to take on the hurdles by memorization only. You have to finish the race. You're going to lose, but you're going to finish. You wish that you could feel your legs. All you can feel in that moment is your heart pounding. Hurdle 9. The lightheadedness is overwhelming. You know you are almost there. You can hear your mom screaming up ahead. You have to finish. Hurdle 10. You stumble over the last hurdle, catch yourself, and stagger to the finish line. You fall to your knees as you try to overcome the moment, head to the ground. The officials are reading off the results, but all you can hear is your mom shouting for you as she rapidly approaches. She's rubbing your back, asking you if you are okay. You hear the athletic trainer asking you to say something. Your vision is returning. You're okay, you have to be. The dizziness is gone. You can see the gravel near your face. The bells have gone away. You slowly stand up, trying to push off the hands helping you to your feet. You need to hold your head high. You need to be okay. You just lost the race that should have been yours. You look up at your mom's face. The worry in it is undeniable. "I'm fine, Mom." This is my story, my experience. During my senior year of high school, 2 years after collapsing at that finish line, my world as I knew it came crashing down. A diagnosis of hypoglycemia was followed by randomly detecting a heart murmur never noticed before. Cardiac follow-up led to genetic testing. I'll never forget the day I was officially diagnosed with long QT syndrome. It was Good Friday of the year 2000. My mom turned to me with tears streaming down her face, still on the phone with my doctor who had just received the genetic results. It broke her heart as much as mine, the woman whose voice always broke through everyone else's as she cheered on the sidelines as my greatest fan. No more playing basketball until the streetlights came on, no more racing my friends on the track, and no more hopes to play Division I soccer in college. No more dreams coming true. The dreams of the little girl who wanted nothing more than to compete for the rest of her life. Not only was my true passion taken away from me, I was told I was a ticking time bomb that could have gone off at any moment. I was confused. I was angry, sad. At that time in the year 2000, I could barely find any information on my syndrome aside from the SADS Foundation website and found virtually no support with regards to meeting other young people with heart conditions. Despite the amazing support of my friends and my family, it was the most alone I've ever felt in my life. No one could truly understand what it was like to feel as though you were no longer yourself. But I was alive and I had been given a chance. And I decided to concentrate on what I had, not on what I didn't have. So I did what anyone would have done. I entered a beauty pageant. And yes, that's supposed to be funny, especially if you knew me then. Of course, the stereotypes associated with beauty queens made me laugh at the idea when it was suggested to me by my guidance counselor. He suggested I compete for our city's local pageant, while I stared at him in disbelief, me in my torn jeans, t-shirt, and ratty sneakers. I was the least likely beauty contestant ever. Ever since I could walk, I would have rolled around in the dirt and tried to beat up the boys rather than wear a dress or brush my hair. But I saw it as a new form of competition, a way to fill the void left by sports, and I certainly love a good challenge. So I walked into the Miss Fall Over Massachusetts 2000 scholarship pageant. Now, I had never been nervous a day in my life before a sporting event. This was just a little different. I almost puked before my interview. I couldn't breathe during my simple but interesting piano talent, and I knew there was no smile plastered across my face while I was strutting around in an evening gown. The most memorable part, though, was walking like a football player in my swimsuit and heels. No grace, no poise. Mom was so proud. But the funniest part of it all is that I actually loved it. Sure, I built confidence in ways I never thought I'd want to, but believe it or not, it was actually fun. I took on an unexpected adventure and I enjoyed the ride. I loved it most, though, because I was given time to speak to the judges regarding my platform issue. Every contestant competing in the program chooses to speak on an issue important to her. Your platform issue is about advocacy, working in the community for your chosen cause, and I told them all about sudden cardiac arrest and heart conditions affecting young people. None of the judges had ever heard of long QT syndrome, and it was an empowering and therapeutic experience to speak about my condition. I still missed being an athlete, though. I missed everything about it. At that time, I was being treated with heart medication. My grandfather was taking the same kind, and I always found it funny that a teenager and a 65-year-old could have interchangeable prescriptions. My mom, however, had been researching magical devices called implantable cardioverter defibrillators, ICDs. Now, most teenage girls typically aren't looking for an excuse to have surgery that would leave a large scar in a raised box under the skin of their chest. I, however, was not like most girls. I was willing to take on all of this for the chance to have more freedom and safety in my life. I approached my cardiologist and asked him if having this device implanted would remove restrictions. He agreed that with my lack of clear symptoms, he would move forward with the surgery and we would closely monitor my activities. At this time, I threw myself harder into my academics, my love for creating art and community service. I graduated from my high school as an active member of student government in various clubs, number 8 in my class of 500 students, and was accepted into the art program and Commonwealth College at the University of Massachusetts at Amherst. It made me feel great to know I could still accomplish so much and mean something to others, even while I wasn't able to participate in the one thing I had thought most defined me. So 1 month before entering college, I had my first ICD implanted. This is my first one. I still consider it my little good luck charm, still looking shiny and new. And can I also say how lucky we are to have those types of ICDs, which is a little bigger than my second one, because this is one of those original ICDs that was implanted right in adult stomachs. I mean, we're pretty lucky. It's come a far way. It's like abs of steel for that one. So it was a tough time for me then. My self-esteem, my self-worth, they were very fragile. I felt normal, but I still felt like a freak. Sometimes I felt a sense of only what I can describe as claustrophobia and having this foreign object inside of me that I couldn't take out. I felt like the people surrounding me thought I was delicate when they found out about my condition. And at first I told very few people what I had experienced because they just wouldn't get it. And I just didn't have the energy to explain. One day early in my first year of college during art class, a classmate came up to me and complimented my painting. We chatted a bit. And then he questioned if it was okay to ask me if I was okay, as he pointed to my chest. Shortly after my surgery, my incision had burst open, and I had been left to dress my wound several times every day for months. I wasn't very neat in this process, and more often than not, bandages would stick out of the top of my shirt, and I stopped caring. I took a deep breath, gathered some newfound courage, and told him the story. "That's cool," he told me. I was caught off guard. All the stress and emotions that had been bottled up in me for months came out in a great laugh. "Yeah, it is cool," I told him. Toward the end of the school year, he asked me if he could see my scar. All healed now. He touched it and told me, "Scars tell stories. That's a great scar." It became easier to share with others what I experienced after that. It was a slow process, but I learned to love me as I am. I became proud to say, I rock a heart condition. And I didn't go on to play Division I soccer, but I did develop some pageant in my blood. Proudly displaying the scar in my chest that the athlete in me insisted was a war wound, I returned to the stage. I began to think about pageants the way I thought about sports. It became about determination, concentration, personal effort. And then I started winning. I still kind of walked like a jock. My piano playing remained something left to be desired, but I had the passion to be there. I was continuing to educate the public about my syndrome, while the media was reporting frequently about athletes dying from underlying unknown cardiac conditions. I started being asked to tell my story. At first, it seemed funny. What story? It's just what happened to me. Why would other people want to hear that? And then slowly I got it. I could not believe how much impact I had just by sharing my experience. Through telling my story, I became a new face of heart disease. No one would pick the young woman out of the crowd as having the cardiac condition. I stressed the notion that heart disease does not discriminate, and people listened. I decided it was time to do more, say more, and accomplish more because more lives are being lost for no reason. I contacted Massachusetts legislators and went to our state house to join the fight for various legislation, including making AEDs mandatory in our health clubs and schools. In June of 2006, I returned for my final state pageant shortly after receiving my master's degree in art therapy and mental health counseling. I walked like a lady, sang as my new talent, and picked up the swimsuit and interview awards. It was down to the final two, and I held the hands of the other remaining contestant. All I could hear was my mom cheering from the audience, still my greatest fan. Miss Massachusetts 2006, Michaela Gagne. They told me my heart could race from playing sports. They apparently never put leads on the girl who just won a pageant. A million thoughts rushed through my mind when the crown was placed on my head. But most importantly, I realized my new role would give me a megaphone for heart disease awareness that could literally save lives. I do have my crown here. Some of you in the audience have gotten to see this before. I promise you, if you ever meet me in person, you're more than welcome to try this on. And I probably have more pictures with men trying this on than women, but hey, whatever. So in January of 2007, in front of a national TV audience, I proudly walked across a Las Vegas stage as a contestant in the Miss America pageant. I was featured in USA Today, interviewed nationally on CNN, Fox News, and Inside Edition regarding my story and my fight. Backstage, one contestant asked me if I wanted to borrow her makeup to cover my scar for the swimsuit competition. "No, thanks," I told her. "It's a badge of honor." My best and most memorable Miss America experience wasn't walking across that stage. It wasn't the cameras, filming a reality show, fashion events, or the red carpet experiences. My best experience was an email. A lady had read about me in the media, and she told me she had a life-threatening heart condition as well. She needed an ICD, but she hadn't found the courage to go through with the surgery. After reading my story, she decided if Miss Massachusetts could do it, then so could she. She ended the email with, "Michaela, thank you for saving my life." She let me all know that all was successful after she had her device implanted, and I knew once again it was never about the crown or the glamour. It was about the impact I could have on others. And of course, world peace. Through this mission, I became a national spokesperson for the American Heart Association, and I was able to speak on Capitol Hill several times about my story and the work that has to be done to prevent more lives from being taken unnecessarily by heart disease. I connected more with the SADS Foundation, as well as speaking nationally for Parent Heart Watch, the national organization founded by parents who have lost children to sudden cardiac arrest. These parents, my heroes, fight through the pain of losing their children so suddenly by uniting together to help spread awareness so that other families will not suffer the same tragedies. I have met so many tremendous individuals and organizations who are part of the fight to save lives. I love these groups. I love the people I have met, and I certainly love my work. The best part of my role was nationally speaking to children and teenagers affected by heart disease. I encourage them to view their syndrome with a new sense of hope. It's not every day you get to compare scars with an 8-year-old who has had an open heart surgery, or better yet, hear a 5-year-old who has his own ICD grab your hand and say, "Wow, that's so cool. Miss Massachusetts has a heart problem too." So it's been a journey, one that certainly never ends. In February of 2017, I actually had my second ICD removed permanently with no replacement. A couple years prior, my same doctor approached me with exciting news. My particular mutation of long QT syndrome was no longer deemed life-threatening in research that had just emerged. I was stunned. I cried. It was a very difficult decision to decide to remove my defibrillator, strangely enough, because it felt as though it had become part of my anatomy, and it was an empty feeling to no longer have it, leaving a different kind of scar. Now, 22 years after diagnosis, I never thought I would be in the position I am in today. In the end, however, I wouldn't change any of this history because it made me into a woman I am proud to be. Currently, I'm a school mental health counselor working with high-risk youth, many of whom have a variety of extreme social and emotional issues. Most importantly, I'm a proud mom to 4 amazing children. Pregnancy and motherhood certainly brought up a new series of challenges for me. The concern I had over passing on my genetic condition took its toll and stress. I am unwavering, however, in having my kids monitored and cared for medically, and I have to consistently remind myself that they live in a generation of great medicine and technology to diagnose and treat should they ever need it. This faith has helped me be strong with accepting I can only take on the challenges presented to me and take sensible precautions, not fixate on the what ifs that can consume us. So for those of you out there who are troubled by past and current obstacles, wondering about experiences to come, dealing with having a heart condition or a device, I can only hope my story helps just a little. Each of us has a very different story to tell. My story is meant for many reasons. It is one to encourage you to appreciate your positive qualities and shortcomings, your successes and challenges, while continuing forward in your life no matter the obstacles. That being said, I say, embrace it all. Embrace what you have, accept it as a part of who you are. Being a survivor hasn't been as much about the physical aspects, but the emotional challenges this ordeal has taken. Survivors are those making it through what the common person does not have to experience, mentally, physically, psychologically, and spiritually. If you can find strength of mind and heart, no pun intended, all the challenges we face can take on a greater meaning for you. Life is too short, with or without a medical condition, to not concentrate on what we have and make time for those moments that can become great memories. In closing, I can say I'm lucky. I am lucky to have a mom and dad who pushed to find answers, lucky to have doctors who cared, and certainly lucky to be healthy. We should all have the chance to be so lucky. We should all have the chance to live a healthy and fulfilling life. I am many things: an artist, an athlete, a singer, an advocate, a counselor, a coach, a beauty queen. I am a sister, a daughter, a mom, a fighter, a dreamer, an optimist, and a strong woman. But most importantly today, I am a survivor. I can think of no better cause to fight for than life, and my work is done in the memory of those who could not be saved. Thank you so much for having me this morning.
Thank you so much, Michaela. That was so inspirational. We appreciate your time and all your long-time advocacy efforts.
I appreciate all SADS has done for me for many years. So thank you for having me.
Thanks, Michaela. Have a great day.